So today's episode is going to be on chronic pain and pain in general, pain science, because let me tell you, a lot of people are suffering out there. Not just me having to deal with you guys, but people in actual pain. People in actual pain. You guys know what pain is all about, right? You've had it. You work with it every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys both waited and then...
Yes, I do. Yes.
And
There's
the
no
cool
script.
thing is that I work with adults primarily now, and Rachelle works with kids.
Yeah. Well, kids all the way up to age 21.
Sometimes
Rob,
kids
you
can
would
be all the
fit
way
right
to
in.
31, 32.
Hey.
They're both zinging each other.
Both
We're seeing the dark side of Rachelle when she yells at her dog here.
I've never seen you so serious, Rachelle.
Yeah, I've never seen her make a serious face like that.
Disciplining a child, you have to be.
That was a
firm in
mom
business.
Yeah.
I'm a mom now. I have a mom voice.
Yeah, no kidding.
Wow.
Wow.
It's
Coming
scary.
out.
You should see it when you should see me at work.
Yelling at the kids that you don't.
I
that aren't
don't
yours.
yell. I firmly give boundaries.
Yeah.
Hey, Rob,
Firm
this is good for you.
Firm
Firmly
boundaries.
Yeah, boundaries, right?
It sometimes looks like parenting, but I'm not.
I have no boundaries.
Everybody
Either
needs
way.
boundaries.
I'm like a open borders kind of guy over here in
Oh,
terms
yeah?
of PT.
In terms of PT. Well, you just have to make people well, right?
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, what's going on there?
Okay.
Who are you
I'm trying-
texting?
Yeah, right. I can
I'm
read the
texting
text.
my husband because his camera keeps shutting off. And so it says once it's on, you have to press record on the back of his camera and small button on the top left. But I don't understand any of that. So I'm just gonna wait for him to get home. So if my camera shuts off, there we go.
Right when you said it. Right when you said it.
His camera hates me.
If my
my
camera
God.
shuts
And
off.
guess what? My
That's
dogs are
gonna be
bark.
my stupid highlight that I'll put on it.
No.
How'd you know?
Because my husband just got home and opened the
Okay, that's
garage.
good. He can distract them.
Yes.
Just-
Hold on a second. I'm gonna mute myself for a second.
Can he hear? Can the dogs hear me now?
No, they can't.
Because he did the exact noise that I did.
I'm gonna mute myself for a second so you guys don't hear
I'm
this.
crying over here.
It's madhouse at her house right now. Rachelle's going through a lot of pain herself. Very stressful for her and her husband. Her husband's gonna fix it though. He's gonna get the camera to work, hopefully. But she can hear us. She's with us in spirit. That's all that matters. All right, so let's get to the meat and potatoes here. We're almost done with the podcast, everyone. Don't worry.
We haven't talked.
We're gonna have
about pain
13 views on YouTube. And we're gonna have 0 views on Spotify. So our moms and our dads are gonna be disappointed. That's about it.
yet. Why did we take such a negative spin all of a sudden?
Oh, that's really depressing. Dark.
Do we need to talk about something? Are you okay?
I'm giving examples of how your attitude can affect your pain levels.
Are you in pain right now?
Emotional, visual, and auditory pain.
About spiritual pain.
Actually,
Got one.
yeah. In some ways, you could say yes. That's a whole nother story. Anyway, let's get to the meat and potatoes. Okay.
Okay.
You guys have the questions I prepared for you.
What question,
No.
Rob?
I sent them to your
husband,
email.
Trevor's here. He's gonna help me keep it on.
All right,
Trevor.
Trevor, what's up?
Say hi.
Oh. Oh! He got right
How
to it.
you've changed.
Wait, are these videos? Oh, these are all different, like past images of your husband.
That was Carson. That wasn't
You
Trevor.
could, well, I mean, are you recording?
Yeah, Rob's recording.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I'm sorry. You can edit this out.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, he can
Yeah.
edit it out. Trevor's like, he
Yeah.
can edit it out, right?
Rob probably won't.
Here.
I don't know. Maybe this part because it's straight up like
Can
diagnostics.
you edit out the beginning when I'm not paying attention?
You haven't been paying attention at all. Ooh, good lighting now.
That one will
Rachelle.
turn off.
You'll get this back. I'm just hanging out for a little bit.
I could have set it up for you if you would let me know.
I forgot.
Yeah, it's okay.
I had so much on
See
my
you
plate
guys.
tonight.
I just got back from workout. I'm dying. I threw up tonight.
Did you
Oh
really?
god.
Nice.
Trevor's in pain.
CrossFit?
Well,
Did you get back from CrossFit?
Yeah, so I go in the morning and Trevor goes at night. So we like switch
What time?
child duty.
It's like a 10:30 class. It's crazy.
No, it's
3
only
hours
it's
earlier
only 8. It's a 7 o'clock class because right now it's only 8:05 here.
Oh, duh. Yeah, you're in Arizona.
This guy.
They should. They should get rid of time zones. Everything should just be Eastern Standard.
I've said that. And daylight savings time, we don't operate on that. And I read a whole article on the history of daylight savings time and why Arizona does not participate, and we need to get rid of it.
So what did the article say?
Basically, like Arizona doesn't follow it because of all the farming back in the day, and it just messed up with the schedule, so they just didn't participate.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, I mean, time. You could just say like, let's meet at 11, and if everything was the same, it would just be California. The sun comes up at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
But that's just what you do. You're like,
Just
I'm in
deal
California.
with it. You have an ocean
Yeah.
next to you. Why not just deal with it?
Yeah, because it's going to be the same difference. Yeah. It's just a number. It's all subjective. Just like
Yeah.
pain.
It's all relative.
Just like
Pain's
pain.
not
See,
just
this is my
subjective.
segue. What?
Pain's not just subjective.
Oh, explain.
Is this your first question?
This is my segue.
Well, that's kind of a big non-question.
It's a big non-question.
It's a big statement.
We got to salvage this podcast. Please, God, make it work.
And direct us.
Okay, so pain is not only subjective, it's objective too. So how would you describe pain being an objective thing?
I mean, there are a lot of different kinds of pain. So you think of your classic pain, smirk, your classic pain of there's an input, you have some noxious stimulus, there's an input, travels up to your brain, you process it, travels out, and you do something. That's like the, old school kind of form. But so I guess that's objective when you have like a direct thing like that, trajectory. And then you can add to like the gate theory when there's facilitatory input, inhibitory input, and you get some sort of feeling. But I guess what I'm really getting to is like now it's subjective and objective, but it's not like a serial process. It's everything's in parallel. So you have the physiological stuff that's going on, you have your stimulus, you have what I just talked through, and then you have your past experiences, psychosocial stuff. So it's not just subjective, nor is it just objective.
It's the biopsychosocial model.
Yes.
Do you have notes?
Huh?
Do you have notes in front of you?
I do, but I'm not reading them because it's not even the right page. But
I
I prepared because I didn't know what kind of questions you were going to ask. So
I saw you look down.
I know, but it's not even the right.
You're so good that you prepared. I like that you prepared, and that was really good because, pain operates on the biopsychosocial model more so than the classic gate, or not just what they call gate theory, the original concept. People just make it extremely like input output. Something pokes you, that hurts, that's pain. It's more than just that, right?
Yeah.
Past experiences, like if you've been, like the classic example is like when you're running through the woods and you get poked by something and you're like, oh my God, I'm dying. I got bit by a snake. Because you maybe in the past you've had an issue like that where you got bit by a snake. But then you look down and you just stepped on a little prickly thing, a little weed with like a sharp thing on it, and all of a sudden like, oh, that doesn't hurt too bad. Or you look at your arm one day and there's a huge black and blue. You're like, what the? But then you realize it must not have been big of a deal because I don't feel it. Like if it was enough to give you a black and blue, usually that stuff really hurts. But sometimes your brain just decides like, this is not the battle I want to fight right now.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Rachelle?
I totally agree. Well, I experienced that this morning. I was like getting on the fan bike, the assault bike, and I totally got on it wrong. And like I have it on my leg. Yes, the assault bike. And I totally like skinned my leg on a piece of metal, but I didn't care. I felt it and I kind of looked down because I felt my leg hit some metal. And like it totally, I was like, oh, whatever, like I gotta get on this bike because in a minute I have to go back and do my kettlebells, whatever I was doing. So I like got on, I was going, and like, you know, I had a minute to sit and do the assault bike, and I looked down and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm bleeding, but I let it just go for the rest of the time because like it wasn't important to me at the time. But I thought of that this morning. I was like, it's interesting how your brain like is able to like process things and be like, it's not that, you know, something else is more important to me right now, so it's kind of in the back of my mind. But on depending on another situation, you know, like, well, it all comes back to the mom, like the model that we operate right off, like that we're all talking about right now is called the mom model. It's the mature organism model. So that's the model that was developed in 1992 and is now what people currently operate under. So that's the one that takes all your experiences, what your current situation is, your stimulus, you know, everything. Like that's the model that we're operating under.
Yeah, like the neuromatrix.
Yeah, the neuromatrix model. That's the MOM, M-O-M, mature organism model.
And I thought it was something to do with like your mom, when you're hurting, she kisses your boo-boo.
Well, that's interesting you talk about that because that's kind of like the old gate theory, because you have your different fibers, right? So the gate control theory, there's a reason like when you hurt yourself and you rub it and it goes away, it's because you're overriding, you're inhibiting that pain mechanism, right? And you're doing soft touch to get the beta fibers to override the pain fibers. So that's why your mom's kiss might actually have made you feel better.
No, it's because all the love involved with it, I think. That's like why that's why scraping and massage can be really effective sometimes, because it's like you're just overriding like this one input, like you're sending other signals up down the same pathway that's hurting. So it's like, oh, my trap hurts, and it's like, let me squeeze the crap out of it. Let's foam roll it, put a lacrosse ball on it. So like you're adding some other input in there that's the nature of what you're feeling in the first place. Would you agree with that?
I mean, I guess it depends on what kind of pain the person's having.
Yeah. Like what?
Like if there's like objective, like Sarah would say at the beginning, tissue damage, like if they actually like, I don't know, actually tore it or like something lacerated, you know, like that. Like
Yeah.
You know, it just depends versus like, you know, the body pain with like, you know how people just get body pains because of whatever's going on in their life or like something, a triggering event, and then their life, and then everything's just too much and you get the whole body pain. But yeah, still like, you know, it's a different stimulus, different thing.
The cup runneth over with water. The cup, yeah, the cup thing, right? That's the sometimes you deal with something all the time, and then all of a sudden stressors in life lead to a whole sequela of events that you can't seem to control the pain that you were able to control before. So like, I don't know, sometimes you see a lot of people I see people in the clinic or when I'm treating, it's like they were doing fine, and then they had like a little trigger, and then they start spiraling, and then I'll meet with them next time, like, oh my God, I did this and it hurt, then I could do that, oh my God, it's just terrible, and it just hurts, and like I was at work and I felt it the whole day. It's like it catastrophizes a little bit, makes things even more unbearable in their mind.
Yeah.
Can you
That's why psychology is so important.
Yeah,
I could not operate without psychology. With the type of clientele we see, could not operate without psychology.
You work alongside a psychiatrist?
A psychologist. We have psychiatrists at PCH, but the clinic is with a psychologist and a doctor, like an MD.
And to remind people, you work at the hospital with a team of people that all work on like a patient.
Yep, Phoenix Children's Hospital. We have a lot of multidisciplinary clinics there, but the one I work with is the multidisciplinary pain clinic.
And your kiddos that you're dealing with have a range of issues coming on, right? What's like the most common thing you're seeing?
The most common diagnosis that we'll get, like just an umbrella term that a doctor will smack on it, was chronic pain or fibro. And but it's a lot of what I'm seeing. Actually, what I'm seeing right now a lot with that diagnosis is posture. I don't know about you guys, but like so many people now are on their like desktops or their laptops at home because of Corona. And oh my gosh, like I've been seeing a lot of like neck, like the neck pain, objective neck pain because of their posture is so poor because of these months of just being at home, you know. That's what I'm seeing a lot of right now. I don't know what Sarah's seen a lot of.
Sarah.
I see everything. I'm also like, I have some neuro patients too, but a lot of ortho. It's a pretty typical caseload, but yeah, I definitely see some of the postural stuff. I think with the younger adults and everything, even before COVID, I was seeing a lot of postural stuff.
Oh yeah.
But right now, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just like all over the place.
Yeah.
I've had some post-op patients too on telehealth, which is like kind of interesting to do. So I've been getting really creative with the range of motion.
My God, what kind of surgeries are people recovering from on telehealth? Knee replacements?
I've had total hip, rotator cuff repair, all sorts of
Whoa.
stuff. So
you're following these protocols through video.
yeah, it's kind of interesting, but that's kind of
Passive range of motion.
Pain science.
It all hurts. It all hurts. People get shoulder surgery. There's going to be a lot of orthopedic surgeries now that coronavirus is, people are lifting some of the restrictions, at least with like the surgical stuff. So there might be a lot of people listening that have had rotator cuff. One of the 13 people are going to be like, I've had a massive shoulder replacement and I want to know how to get better on telehealth with Sarah Glick in Miami. Booyah. I don't want to get exposed.
Well, to be
But
fair,
maybe-
I've had a few post-op patients that I've sent to clinic. Because if I don't feel like it's appropriate for them, I'm not gonna push it. If they're comfortable going to clinic.
Oh, true. You can just send them to the clinic. Yeah, I guess that makes you kind of like the quarterback in that situation, right? You can decide where to send people if they need hands-on stuff. That's good. I bet you can't wait to get back to hands-on treatment. Put your hands on people, make them feel better.
No, I really miss the like interpersonal connection and stuff. But honestly, there are some real benefits to telehealth that I found, which I mean, it's been pretty fun. It's definitely like you have to be very creative.
Do you find that your patients are better at like learning how to take care of themselves because you're not like babying them as much?
Well, I never baby my patients, first of all. I allow them to have intrinsic motivation.
Well, but when you can't even touch them, man, that must really make them self-efficacious.
Yeah, no, it's cool because especially a lot of my patients are more compliant with their home exercises too, because you're in their house, you know, like basically showing them what to do. And so then they're like motivated to go do it themselves. You're one-on-one, they're comfortable. Like a lot of my patients with chronic pain, you know, when they come to clinic, it's a little bit, you know, sometimes it's you don't feel so relaxed. So being able to manage some of that in their own home is pretty cool. So yeah, and the one-on-one for me, it's like there are some real, like I said, there are real benefits to it.
Yeah, you aren't used to having one-on-ones, are you?
Not
I
at
totally
all.
forgot about that.
It's really
wow. Don't you like the one-on-ones? One-on-ones are great.
When I would get that in clinic, it's just like so fun. But yeah, the one-on-one, although I'm finding with COVID that you know, it's like very intimate. So you hear like everybody's life story. So you have to make sure that you take care of your own mental health too.
Yeah. It's been a lot.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
I keep giving you little plugs here, Rob.
I know. I'm dying out here.
It's late
I'm
for
like,
Rob. Poor
I'm like
Rob.
I'm crying. I'm so tired. It's so funny because I slept in and everything too. But here I have a little framework here. So anyway, I think this is an interesting one. I hear this a lot from patients or patients that learn a little bit about their pain and then they seem to fall back on this. They always say, "Oh, my central pain is kicking on. My central pain. I'm feeling my central pain. That's what's going on."
What's central pain? I've never heard that.
They call it central pain. It's like, it's when people say, I don't know, well, I mean, I guess it's the way the doctors refer to it. It's like when they're having any kind of history of neurological condition or something, like at least this particular patient that I always hear it from, maybe it's just one patient, but
Like neuro, like they had a TBI or like a stroke?
yeah, well, this particular one had a, oh man, what did he have? It was something to do with, forgetting the actual name of the condition, but it's like, it's what he refers to central pain basically as like central, like sensitization.
Sensitization. Yeah.
Yeah, but he calls it,
It's
he
now
calls
it's
it
called
central pain.
nociplastic. Yeah.
Was it called, Sarah?
So it was called central sensitization, but now it's more, people normally use nociplastic pain, and it's not, it's more of like what happens. So like there's the three kinds of pain. You have basically, if you're going to do an overview, you have nociceptive, which is that pure mechanical. There's like,
Right.
you know, a movement that creates it, and you can have mechanical, you can have ischemic where there's a lack of blood flow, you know, like a
Right.
postural thing. Then you have your the neuro, like the neurogenic. So basically, like typically it has to do with an ischemic nerve condition, or like there's a traction on your nerve. It has to do with the peripheral nerve region.
Okay.
The third kind is a central sensitization or nociplastic, which is the one where you have to be really careful deeming it, because if you tell patients that it's like a central pain syndrome or something, they're going to say, oh, you're saying it's in my head. When in reality, what's happened is you have it's literally a hypersensitization of the neural pathway. So wherever it is along that pathway, there's either like increased neurotransmitters, increased inflammatory markers.
Okay.
Yeah, and so
I never heard that term. I know it, like we talk about that all the time with the sensitive.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, all the time. That's like what the whole textbook was talking about when we were outlining this pain program. I never know it was called that. Okay, I'll look that up.
That goes to show you how many different names. No, I mean, that's the thing. It's just, I was just referring to it as what one patient called it. And that shows you how many different like forms it can take, because people give everything a different name, and it sometimes even confuses us because it's like, oh, central pain. So that's just an example too of like the way people grow with it. It makes them feel a type of way, because they'll be like, oh, well, I have central pain. They kind of like with particular patients, this one in particular, it becomes a little bit of an excuse to like, well, this is what that is, and it's never going to get better. So it takes sometimes a third party to convince them like, well, we can still work with that. Doesn't mean that you're doomed. It's not going to feel the same forever. Yeah. So just working with people like that and reducing some of that sensitization. Gosh, I can't even talk right now. Sensitization. But it'll literally change the way that your brain scans. Like if you get like a functional MRI, they'll look and like it'll light up differently, because it's your brain is an organ too, and it has its own little regions and stuff. And over time, if you have pain long enough, it'll change the way you view and see things. It's like just like anything else, right? Like if you're a really if you have a good or negative outlook on something, it'll change the way you respond. So it's similar with pain. It's like if you have experience that was bad, or if it's been around long enough, or you've been told certain things about it, then your brain is just going to categorize it and you're going to respond a certain way.
Isn't that crazy how still even at like any age your brain is plastic, and it will like anything can change it? Like, you know how people like always give that like, well, like I'm older, can't really change
teach
anything.
An old dog new tricks.
But you really can. Isn't that crazy? I love the brain. The brain's like, I like all organs.
The brain is the only organ that named itself. You know that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's such a dad joke.
It's like a dad statement. It's factual. So it is for real. It is the only organ that named itself. It named all the organs. Selfish bastard.
That brain.
So to add to, there were some cool studies done about like chronic low back pain and nociplastic back pain. There were actually gray matter changes in the brain, which is pretty fascinating. And once they started to do the treatment and the person started feeling better, it changed again. It the gray matter like changed. Yeah, That's cool. Yeah, definitely changed.
The way it lit up when they were like experiencing and thinking about things changed. Yeah.
Yeah, just the composition too. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like it's people think of this stuff as so simple, like, oh, it hurts because it's there, and my back is just bad. I have a bad back. It's screwed up. But like there's so much more to it. It's the way that you perceive it and the way that your brain is interpreting it and thinking about it. So when you think it's all mental, it's not like the way people think they hear when they think it's all. When people hear, like we were saying earlier, when they hear the explanations that we give, like about the sensitization and the fact that your brain contributes to it, they're over here thinking that it means like that they're just crazy people and that they're like, chill out, dude. Because that's how we know about it. Like in classic culture, it's like, this person's being a wuss. They can't handle some pain. Like it's not just that. It's like, that's like one little part of one part of it. But the main gist of it is like that, you know, pain is an experience that your brain has like its own methods of dealing with it. So there's a ton of things that go into it. And that's why the model, the mom model, or the biopsychosocial model, incorporates three big concepts, you know, the biological aspects, like the more like rigid objective stuff, and then the psychological thing, which is how you interpret and deal with it, and then the social model, which would be more of like how it affects your life, right? Like if you can't like play your canasta club anymore, or you can't play pickup basketball because your knee hurts.
Yeah.
You can't play with your kids. You can't lift your little grandkid off the floor and throw him in the air. You
That's
can't
so
wrestle with
sad.
I know. I'm thinking of the most emotional examples, right? So yeah, I mean, if you can't do that stuff, it's going to affect how your pain feels. So, you know, it's things to think about, people. It's not so simple.
Well, I think you brought up a few really good points as a clinician. Like, you need to get a really thorough history. So for you to know that they're sad because they can't pick their grandkid up, that's because you took a good history. And so then you kind of can go from there. So like really listening to your patient, taking a really thorough, especially when you're dealing with pain, you want to like rule out some red flag stuff, some visceral, like, you know, referral patterns, all of that, and see what's really causing their pain or what you think it is attributing to it. And then also what you brought up is how do you talk to your patient about pain? So a lot of what we do is that interpersonal connection. And so, you know, especially if you're dealing with and working with somebody with chronic pain, you need to know how to educate them without either telling them, you know, giving them basically it's my central pain, like that's it. Or telling, or they, you know, it takes a while to practice learning how to talk to your patient about chronic pain, because you don't want the patient to be like, you know, I'm not working with you. You think it's all in my head kind of thing. So you're right. Like between taking a good history and being able to educate in a nice disarming way is like, those are great points. And like, as a clinician, you need to think about it.
Yeah. As well as from taking a good history also like that and getting to know like their social stuff, you can get some really good functional goals that's intrinsically motivating to them. Because if you set your own goals, like like we're so good at like looking at things and like, oh, you should be able to get this and we should be able to get this range of motion and like be this strong. But some people don't like care about that. Like they want to be able, like that doesn't translate to their life. Like, okay, I'll get a 5 out of 5 on MMT, like whatever. But like but knowing that they want to pick up their grandkid, like that's something someone can get behind and work towards, right? Like, so taking a good history like that and knowing what their goals are that are really going to be motivating and that's going to be like life changing, like that's also really good too as a clinician, like dealing with chronic pain.
Yeah, I've been focusing more on making my goals about like what they want, you know, like when I first started, I was just looking at like the goals I wanted to do, like 5 times sit to stand or like run or do something like that. But now it's like usually the goals they give you, you can easily make them into something really objective, like that a PT would love anyway. So I make sure when they give me their goals, it's not just 1 or 2. I'm like, think of all the things that you really want to do again. Like, just think of like basically right now, what are the things you're really missing out on, and focus on getting them back to those things that they really like to do. Because then they'll feel awesome if they could actually do those things again, and you could put your objective spin on it too, because you can do that with anything. And then all of a sudden everyone's happy, and they basically gave you your goals for you instead of you having to like make up some boring one that's just like 5 times sit to stand in less than 18 seconds to improve objective quality of life. It's like, no, that's boring. Like, let's pick up your grandkid, spin him in 15 circles in less than 30 seconds with his arms fully extended.
But I think also that's where your short-term and long-term goals come in. So like maybe your PT objective goals are like, will demonstrate 10 times sit to stand in, this amount of time, or without aberrant motions or whatever, because their end goal is they want to be able to pick up their kids. So they need a good hip hinge or something, So
yeah.
I think that's a great progression. Like you still need your objective PT nerd stuff, but that's for the greater goal of like picking up your kids, walking for 20 minutes, whatever,
Yeah, I like that. I like the aberrant motion one. That's really good. Watch their performance. They're doing it, and it's a big adult word. Wait, so Rachelle, when you're
that one.
yeah, exactly. Aberrant. Don't be aberrant with me.
Steal that from Dr. Sarah.
Dr. Sarah. We should all go by doctor than our first names. That's what I do.
That'll be in my assessment tomorrow. I'll put that somewhere in there. I'll sprinkle that in my assessment tomorrow in my notes. Thanks, Sarah.
Apparently, this patient apparently aberranted their aberrant motions.
Oh no. A bear with aberrant.
Oh yeah, like if it's like a big hairy guy, like yeah, bear. A bear came in.
I was thinking about like a real bear, but that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, what are the odds she's gonna? Well, there's bears in Arizona.
Northern Arizona, yes. Northern Arizona, there are.
Yeah, they don't want to be too furry. Yeah, you can't be too furry in the heat.
Nah, they die.
Unless there's like Siamese bears that have like no fur. I timed it perfectly. So
you know how scary that'd be? You know how scary that'd be?
That would be like a giant possum.
Yeah, disgusting. With like big claws.
Oh God.
Minus the tail.
Oh, did they get it? Yeah, tail removed?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, like
I don't know. We're making this up.
They've been raised by one of those like breeders that want to make them look nice.
Oh.
Yeah, imagine what they would look like, because they would have like regular saggy skin like those cats. Those are Siamese cats, right?
I think I don't know. I don't like cats very much.
No, Siamese cats have hair. It's you're thinking of a different cat. I know which cat you're thinking about because it's in a Disney movie that we grew up with.
Oh, Lady and the Tramp.
Yes.
Yeah.
But those had hair.
Yeah, they
did.
But there's hairless cats.
Maybe you're thinking of a naked mole rat.
I'll look it up.
Naked roll mat.
Naked roll mat. That's actually one of my exercises I use with my patients.
Oh gosh.
The naked roll mat. It improves hip dissociation.
It's called a Sphinx. It's called a Sphinx.
I wish you could just pull it up on the screen right now, but that probably needs help from your husband.
It would scare people.
And we'd have like 5 things open instead of the 4 for 3 people.
And there'd be dogs barking, there'd be babies taking their first steps, and it'd be confusing. It would be insane. We wouldn't be able to handle it.
It would be mayhem.
It would be mayhem.
It would be mayhem. So
mayhem.
Can't have that.
I had an old question that's totally non-functional anymore because we just talked about bears and mayhem. But it was for Rachelle. I was like, Rachelle, what are some of your cool goals? Because you work with kids, so I want to hear what kind of cool things that they want to get back to. Because you're working with kids of all different backgrounds. They play sports in high school and all that stuff.
Kids who aren't sporty, kids who just like to game all day, which is like totally great too, or like kids who are like really good artists. So like Sarah said, like I have my short-term nerdy PT goals, but then I always ask them, give me 3 things that are attainable that we can work towards. And usually it's always like, I want to be able to like sit and draw again. Like for people who are like really like artsy, or I've had some that's what's really popular is I just want to be able to go, before Corona, I want to be able to go hang out with my friends for an hour and not have to feel like, not have it feel like some big taxing event, or like have my mom come pick me up in like 15 minutes. So like, that's what you hear a lot of. So that like, obviously like you need some like endurance goals, some strength goals, like to get there, but activity pacing. So that's what you hear a lot about. Or be able to like, I have a lot of kids who want to be able to just run. Like I want to be able to run a mile again. So like we have a lot of that. So we have to work towards that. That's a longer goal, but that's like my 3 main popular goals that are like statements I usually get.
Yeah, I like that. It's really, I mean, because as a kid, you have like your little social circle. You're playing in the street. You're playing games with them. You're playing stickball.
Yeah.
You're playing with your dog that's barking, or you're just playing your sport, or you just want to be like in gym class and be functional, not be like the kid that's left out. and
Yeah, that
different.
has to sit out. Like, yeah, that's not fun. It's not fun to be the
not
different
fun.
kid.
This is inspiring me. I'm gonna really focus on those fun goals in the future now. I'm gonna make my notes so exciting and cool. Thanks,
Those
guys.
little
Average.
Sarah Glick words in them.
Yeah, the
Sprinkle
bears and
them
the Sphinx
throughout.
cat.
You got it. It's
Yeah.
all about the medical terminology, right?
Ooh, your camera got really quiet.
Me?
Yeah, did you hear that, Rochelle?
No.
Maybe it was
Exactly.
you, Rob.
It was no, she didn't hear it either. She agrees.
Oh my
It was
god.
quiet. Your doggy is really whining over there, Rochelle.
Is he really? Oh, they're playing. Sorry, they're playing right now.
That was
Who, the dogs or your husband and the dogs?
The dogs. I think
Oh,
Trevor's
okay.
eating. He
Oh,
has
he's-
like he has a meeting here at 9:00, so I have to get off in about 25 minutes. But
We've already been
but
talking for nearly an hour. Can
I
you believe it?
know. Time flies, guys.
I feel like we
When you're
haven't
having
talked about
fun.
pain that much.
We haven't. I've just been experiencing a lot of pain.
Oh my gosh, you're so rude.
JK. All right, well then how about this?
Hey,
let's
Rob, if
pick
you
a
think
topic.
about it,
Mhm.
this is like all your fault because you decided to sit by us 5 years ago.
Oh,
You could have
God.
avoided all of this if you just sat somewhere different 5 years ago.
I could have avoided all of this if I didn't sit near you guys. And yeah, there's so many things that would have been different if I didn't sit near you guys. I think that no matter what, I would have been drawn to you, right? Because it is only 60 people in the class, and you just can't avoid. You just can't avoid the people you don't want to hang out with. Eventually, you got to deal with it.
Yeah.
You would always be
Yeah.
before the test. You would be freaking doing the stressful review, the last minute review of all the things I didn't know, stressfully
First
repeating.
of all, that's so not true. We were the annoying ones giggling.
Yeah, and I was
You
the
did
one
giggle a
doing-
lot.
Yep.
We'd walk in, hear us giggling, and walk out. We did not do the stressful review.
Who paid him?
Yeah, Grant
No.
and Hayden would walk in, and they would see us sitting there giggling, and they'd walk out.
It was BS.
Yeah, or they would try to like get us in, like they would like, turn around and ask us questions, and Sarah and I would like kind of partly answer, but then we would just like I had my cutoff. You guys, like I had like my type A weird cutoff. Like
Oh, that's
to a
true.
certain point, there is no point anymore.
That's
Like
true.
I
You guys were
go in it
giggling a
and I'm
lot.
gonna do whatever I'm gonna do.
You're thinking about was not us.
Yes.
Oh, it was,
that's not
you
it.
know, it was
That was Becca.
Becca and the girl that dated Joe, that got married, Adriana. So those two would be like reviewing
We,
like
this is
only the
this
things
is how
I didn't
we always
know.
talk. This is you always give clues, and then I come up with the name.
Exactly. Thank you. Jump in there. help me.
Joe over Adriana. Joe didn't even go to her. Joe wasn't even in
That's
our
true. Yeah. Why would
class.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's how I work, and it doesn't make sense. But the girl who dated Joe and Becca, and they would review that, and you guys would be making me stressed because you were giggling. So it was either like,
Yep.
it was either like feel like I'm stupid or feel like other people are so ready for this test that I'm stupid. So it didn't help me either way. I was like, oh damn.
Oh
I'm
no, we were
screwed.
just slap happy at that point.
I know. I was like, why are you laughing so much? Please. I was between you guys. I was like stuck in the middle between you. So I had no safe space, nowhere to go, sadly.
Ah,
Really, really stressful.
that's
It
not
was
so
stressful for me. And that's why I'm here today as a podcaster and you guys are successful PTs. You know, I'm
Oh my god.
Oh.
just a podcaster and a wellness coach,
Making people well.
making people very well.
And casting
So-
pod.
I'm going to pick a random condition so we can make it part of the title and we're going to go over it. Okay.
Okay.
And it's not going to be chronic low back pain because that's what we always do. It's going to be something different. It's going to be cervical pain.
Oh, come on.
No. It's not. I was joking.
Oh,
It's going to be,
whatever you want.
okay, so how about this? This is going to be functional. It's not going to be as like dense with neuroscience. It's going to be like something that any PT could talk about, you know, any personal
Okay.
trainer.
Well,
So someone comes in, a patient comes to you, someone listening right now has osteoarthritis and their doctor just told them that they have bone on bone in their knee. And they're like, well, it's bone on bone. So, and they're convinced that they're screwed and that they're going to need a replacement because they have bone on bone. So does bone on bone mean that there's no hope and that they definitely just need a knee replacement?
Rachelle, you want to take this one? We're working with kids.
No.
Yeah, how many of your kids have you given orders to get knee replacements, Rachelle?
None.
Like the vehement.
One,
answer there.
I can't even like tell a doctor like this kid needs a knee replacement. That is totally not up to me. I could never ask for that.
Even with adults, like I am, like I've never been like with a patient, like I've never made that call. You know, it's like I know I can get you better, sir.
I would
Hang in
never
there
wish
with
that
me.
on. Yeah, I would never wish that on anybody, even
It's
either.
such a major surgery. It's like,
Oh,
I mean, I've seen some patients that were bad, but it's like if as long as they're improving, we're gonna keep working on it.
what would you say, Sarah?
Well,
Well,
you keep asking like these really big questions, and there are so many components.
I know.
Don't even think of like that. Just think of like you're talking to a patient who's like, Sarah, my doctor said I have bone in my knee. Should I get my knee replacement?
It's funny you say that because I had this one older man patient that every day walked in and it was grumbly. It's bone on bone. What are we accomplishing here? And he was like, we joked that he was like my work boyfriend because he was like, we had a banter.
When was this?
When I was working at University of Miami. So working there. So you get. Anyway, so no, but how do you tackle that when a patient walks in and they say it's bone on bone? Because a lot of what you're doing too is like these patients hear certain things and they hang on to certain things too. So like you have to make your own assessment. You have to do your good history. You have to make your own assessment. You know, that being said, if you're at end stage osteoarthritis and like you're having, you know, it's giving out, there's catching, locking, you know, painful,
Back like a horse.
you know, at some point you're gonna just need a knee replacement. However, a lot of patients get told that it's bone on bone, you're in chronic pain, you're just gonna need a knee replacement. I don't think, you know, that can't be true for all of these patients. So, you know, they have all of the, that's why also I get really hesitant when a patient's like, well, do you think I need imaging? First of all, we can't order that in Florida. Second of all, you know, there's all these studies with men in their 50s, for example. There's one study in particular that stands out that we always talk about. And they all had MRIs, whether they had knee pain or not. And it really wasn't that great of a correlation between a meniscal pathology and pain. So you have to be careful with your imaging. You have to do a really thorough assessment and see how they're moving, how their pain is. Do you think it's a mechanical process? Do you think, you know, there's something else going on? You always want to rule out sinister pathology as well. But I think you can do a lot. There's a lot in terms of, you know, joint lubrication. So really getting that synovial fluid pumping through. A lot of times if they've had this chronic knee pain, chances are that that leg is relatively weak compared to the other ones. So you want to work on joint stability. Look at the joints above and below. So maybe they're, you know, are they Trendelenburging down, you know, like maybe there's more force for some other reason. So that's why it's such a big question. I guess you have to look patient specific, but you know, you're right. Like a lot of these older patients come in and say it's bone on bone, not getting better, I'm getting a knee replacement. And that's when your job as a PT is to do a really good, thorough assessment, come up with some really practical goals and what you think they can accomplish, and then talk to your patient, make sure that you guys are aligned on the goals and, you know, plan of care and make sure there's a mutual understanding. That's my like little.
Yeah, so it's complex, but in general, I think from my perspective, I hear the bone on bone thing, which gets people thinking replacement like way too much, way more than it needs to be heard. So, and like your studies that show that asymptomatic people, half those people have horrid looking knees, or people with really bad looking knees and MRIs don't even feel any symptoms. They're shocked to discover that their knee looks the way it does on MRI, or like their knee was basically fine to them, and then they got an MRI when it started hurting a little bit, and it is way more advanced than they thought it was. So it's like, but what were you feeling like 2 weeks ago, bro? Like you were fine, you were moving around fine. So just think of that. Like it's not like you went through all this degenerative change in 2 weeks. So like if we could just get you back to how you were 2 weeks ago, then you just would. I wish they could like do that thing in Men in Black where they put the thing in your eyes and it like makes them forget, and then they would just be normal again. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Such a good movie.
Those are really good movies.
Well, yeah, you guys got right back to the movie thing. That was good.
But you're right. Bone on bone is really important to hear.
Rachelle, do you hear any recommendations from like doctors or like radiologists from like the kids' perspectives? Like you get kids who come in and their parents are thinking that they need something way more intense or way more like invasive than they actually need? Does that happen with kids? I don't really know.
The only time well, because sometimes like I get kids post-op, so like they've already very few times do I have a patient and then they're like, hey, I'm also gonna get that. It's very few and far in between. Like usually I get them post-op, like after they've been through inpatient, they've been discharged, and now they're in outpatient. So I usually see them after surgery, so I don't really know what they looked like before, unless I did have the honor of treating them before. But the one time that I do have a personal experience was my cousin's daughter. So my cousin's a little bit older than me, and her daughter is 17. And so you guys will catch on to this because you guys are PTs. So her daughter was a really good swimmer and like swam all through junior, like elementary, like competitive junior high into high school. Sophomore year, she goes, I'm going to do cross country. So she goes from water-based, like competitive stuff to running cross country with no in-between training, nothing, no lead up, nothing. So she starts getting knee pain. And so, of course, Tracy takes her to an orthopedic, and the guy goes, we're going to have to do surgery. We should do surgery. We'll get some imaging. We'll do surgery. So he says surgery and then says we'll get imaging, but we'll still do surgery. So Tracy calls me. I was still pregnant at this time. Tracy calls me and goes, hey, like, can you come over and look at Maddie? And so she tells me, I like ask some questions, like get a detailed history and kind of like watch your mechanics a little bit, watch her running. And I'm like, oh, nah, like she just has some weakness, like glute, and her running form could need some improvement, but let's set you up with something and get you there. So gave Maddie some good exercises. I think maybe she went, I don't know if she got running form coaching, I don't know, but I got a text from Tracy like a couple of months ago, and she was like, hey, like Maddie's doing a lot better. We're not going to do surgery. Like, thank you so much.
Oh, that's
yeah.
awesome.
So, cause like, I was just telling her, I was like, Tracy, like we see these kids who get like these surgeries, like when they when they don't need them, like, you know, like when they're not to that point of like needing it, you know, because there's surgeries where you need them, like you need to get the surgery, like you need to get that hip derotation, like you need to get that osteotomy, like there's cases, like most of the time you need them, but like, and I don't know who the orthopedic surgeon, no idea who this man was. She didn't give me the name. I didn't want his name because I don't want to have a bias in my head.
Yeah.
And someone in my community. So I was like, hey, like just looking at her, like just from the assessment stuff, I don't think she's going to need it. And I think it would actually kind of be a little bit more detrimental. Was that like a really like out of my scope call? Maybe. But
you can suggest, you can say, hey, I think you do better with some.
That's the only personal experience I've had with it. But, you know, most of the times, like, there's not people out there in the community saying, like, we should operate. Like, you mostly don't. People are pretty conservative when it comes to kids, like, really conservative.
It's good, yeah. Because you could be starting them off on a pathway with life that's no good. It's like, I'll get surgery for this. No, oh, well, you know, that's not really taken too well. So we have to do, like, another osteotomy or another surgery to do this, and that. And it's just a whole mess, so. I think it's when you start getting those Medicare patients too. It's kind of like the money flows a little easier from Medicare potentially. I don't know. It's weird. It's just, and they think that they're worn out because they're older, right? And you can prove that with an X-ray or MRI. You can prove it by showing them some crappy images and being like, oh my God, look, see, that's bone that's just exposed. It's terrible. Oh my God. I mean, the best example is like a disc herniation. It's like, look at that disc. It's crushing the nerve. And then they like tell the patient where to look, and it's like, see. And then sometimes they'll get out of like a session and they'll ask me like, does it ever heal? Does it ever get better? Like they think that like the disc herniation is like a lifetime thing and it's never going to change. Like, how do they not go over that, you know? So it's good to go over that, the fact that they can go back in and they can take pressure off the nerve. They can stay in the same spot, but you can feel better. Like it's not like so mechanical in that moment, and it's permanent in that exact position you see it in the imaging too. So things to think about. Definitely. Well, that's excellent. I'm glad we could discuss some functional topics there at the end. These are good for clips.
Big clips guy. This is gonna be a really funny podcast.
It's gonna be interesting for me to edit it. I was a little sleepy, but I woke up a little bit towards the end.
You're woke.
Woke.
I am. I'm the woke PT. That's my new Instagram. Is gonna be woke PT.
I thought you were wellness
Every
guy now. Woke wellness.
Woke wellness. I like that. WW.
Yes, www.www.com. And it's just going to be me being woke and well. Because you can't be
I like
well if
that.
you're not woke. If you don't tackle
Wow.
the social issues, then you don't deserve a pain-free life, you know?
Oh God.
We can't preach that. It's not
I'm not going there.
ethical.
But you know what you could do from the what is it? Woke wellness, WW, and then you could say WWRD. What would Rob do?
Oh my gosh, I really like that.
Oh, get the Jesus
You
concept
really need
going
me to
on.
help you with this business.
So
Great
we get the
marketing
woke
right
crowd,
there.
we get religious people, we get the woke crowd, and we get the people who want to feel better.
The
And everyone's
millennials.
woke.
And
Yeah,
everyone
millennials will love it.
better.
We'll get those hipsters from those hipsters. Those, you know, I was
Just
talking about
gotta
that
get
earlier.
your kombucha and avocado toast.
Kombucha.
So then I'll get long hair and a
Love
weird
kombucha.
ironic mustache, and I'll be wearing what are those checkered shirts called that lumberjacks wear?
Flannel.
Flannels?
Yeah,
First
flannels.
of all, flannel was way before these hipsters. Young
Yeah,
man.
No,
way
I
before.
think no. What happened was hipsters were wearing flannels, and then
Ooh.
these the guys that cut down trees,
Lumberjacks.
lumberjacks, copied their style. It's like a game, right? Like I think of the description, and you give me the word. It's like we're
I'm
playing
really good at
Jeopardy.
this game. This
Story
is
of our
fun.
friendship. It's like Mad Lib.
Yeah, reverse Mad Lib. Place
I love
adjective
Mad
about.
Libs.
Yeah, the lumberjacks copied the hipsters, but the hipsters are woke. Lumberjacks aren't, but they are potentially religious. So I'll get the what would Rob do crowd from them, unless they think that's blasphemous.
Well, wouldn't it
Regardless,
be like a matter of perception? What if you're like trying to cut down trees? Then technically lumberjacks would be more woke than the hipsters.
but cutting down trees is not woke because it's bad for the environment.
Oh, is it? Is that what you believe?
No, this is what woke Rob believes. This isn't me speaking.
Woke
This
wow.
Woke wop. Woke wop.
God speaks through me when I speak about WWRD. It's not me. I'm speaking in tongues right now.
Maybe it's Satan.
Oh God. Yeah. In the end, it's all just Satan speaking through me, trying to get hipsters and lumberjacks to hate each other. It's a very divisive wellness woke man.
Polarizing, some would say.
But you know, polarizing. That's the way to do it. 2020.
Ugh.
Anyway,
Sorry. That emotion come out.
I'm
No, that
towing
was
the
my
line. I'm towing the line. This is another concept of WWRD. But let's talk again about you guys because we're saying goodbye. And I want to promote your businesses. Sarah Glick, she sells used socks on Etsy. Tell us about your used sock sales business.
Do you really?
it's made up, first of all.
Oh, I was like,
Oh.
what?
Sorry, that was
I
my
don't
last.
I don't have a business.
Yeah, but not yet.
Well, I don't really want a business. I'm happy working for a university.
What a shill. Anyway, moving on. Sarah
Wow.
is no. Sarah's if you're an athlete and you're injured in Miami, come to me. But if I think that you should go to Sarah, then go to Sarah because I'm being selfish because I have my own PT business. But Sarah is like extremely well educated and she's an orthopedic specialist. She's a sports specialist. She took a sports residency.
There you go.
Yes.
I will be a specialist soon, knock on wood.
Yes.
But I did complete my
Sorry.
residency.
And let me tell you, that residency was tough. She learned a lot, and she's still learning because she's studying for the test. And so you might as well just, those letters are coming, people. And she's amazing. And she's a runner. She's like the number, if I had to have any runner anywhere, if a runner had to work with someone, Sarah. She is in the running business. She's an amazing triathlete, and she's so good at running. She freaking has done her own like private studies on it. And last episode, link in the description, probably not, but maybe I'll put it in there. But just look for the episode because there's only been like 16 episodes. Look for her picture in there. She is amazing with runners. Oh my God. If you're a runner and you need help in Miami, oh my God, go to Sarah. Don't waste your time with physiologics. Go to Sarah, let me tell you.
Go
Wink,
to
wink.
Physiologics, and if you need backup, I'm here.
True, yeah. I'm being really over the top right now. I'm really underselling it. But no, Sarah is amazing. And specifically with runners, but like obviously she has experience with athletes of all kinds because she worked at for this residency. So amazing stuff. And then we also have Dr. Cherryholmes on her way
Yes.
out today too. So, you know, she's also extremely well versed. You have your pediatric lifestyle you're living. Did you do a residency? I'm confused.
No, I didn't because I got married and then had a baby. I always wanted to. I still want to because like through work you can do the PCS and like PCH will help pay for it. But I've always wanted to do a residency. We'll see if that dream comes true. But I just like learning. But I do want my PCS. I'm not working towards it right now. I'm only 3 years in. I feel like I need some more time to.
Yeah, last time we talked, you said that like they recommended that you just experience the clinical stuff too.
Yeah, and like like the couple of clinicians that are older than me and been in the game longer, like they've been in it for 5-7 years, and some of them just took it in their 5th year. So I need a couple more years because there's just so much. Like I see every neuro is like,
Yeah.
Like in the adult field it's huge too. Pediatrics, it's huge. Like there's just there's so much to learn. So, but I do have my own business now. Did I tell you guys this?
What is it related to your podcast?
No, it's not actually. The podcast is just for fun. It's just an outlet. But no, like I started a nonprofit. It's kind of live, but we're still working it out. But I am doing it with my best friend in Arizona, Alexa, and it's called Accessible Youth Playgrounds. And we will be funding accessible playground equipment for people's backyards.
That is so
cool.
Yeah, so like if it's anything from a wheelchair swing to like a small structure. So I have my website up, social medias are up, but we're probably gonna do the first posting I think this Sunday, but it's called Accessible AYP, Accessible Youth Playgrounds.
I love it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that. That's
not leaving
that's
PCH, just a side thing.
Yeah, if you're listening, PCH, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Not gonna lose her. She'll still be there. She'll be constructing wheelchair swings on the side.
Monday through
Selling
Thursday.
them on Etsy, Monday through Thursday. So that's really good. That's very honorable. Way more honorable than selling socks on Etsy. Let me say.
I know. I really gotta shape up. I want to be like.
Oh gosh, Etsy. I don't know. Etsy's like it's hard stuff to do.
Did you try that?
No, are you kidding me? I'm not creative.
Yeah, you are.
Not artsy like that. No way.
I've seen
I'm
you
creative
like
in different
doodling
ways.
in class.
Yeah, you could do hearts.
Yeah, I can draw a pretty good heart. I still do. I still draw hearts on everything.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah, that's good. Always spreading love. Rochelle's always spreading love, man. God.
Amen.
Always love.
Yeah, and your podcast is still entertaining. I listened to like a couple seconds of it. I was laughing my ass off.
I'm actually listening to a bunch of pastors' wives and pastors' spouses. I'm actually going to season 2.
Rob admitted that he listened to it only a couple seconds.
That's okay.
They spill the tea.
It's
It's like watching that show that Cardi B was on, Basketball Wives or whatever.
Oh gosh.
I never seen it.
Very similar vibes, drama, philandering, drugs, alcohol. Oh, that's the different one. That's the other one, actually. Yours is much more wholesome, and
Mine
I like
is very
it.
wholesome. Mine is very PC and very wholesome.
Is it rated G or PG?
I'd say G. I think G.
Do you say like heck?
No, maybe.
Oh.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I can't think of
like
the words I
PG
use.
probably. I know, right? It's just
We don't really talk about angry things. We talk about, give you a little glimpse into stuff. I don't know. I just like talking to people like this. This is why I love doing it, because you just get to listen to brilliant people about stuff. I don't know.
brilliant
I live.
person.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's nice. It's nice. You get to talk about things, and then other people can listen to you talk about those things.
Yeah, it's very selfish. But whatever.
Listen to me.
No, you're sharing.
100
Yeah.
people. Yeah. 100 people listened to Sarah and I's Sarah
I
and my
know that one
podcast.
did so good. It was good.
Yeah, imagine 100 people imagine. That's interesting. That conversation could have gone to deaf ears if we didn't record it and show people.
Yeah.
Maybe some runners listened to it and it was good for them too.
All my running patients listened to it, and my old running group. They really liked it.
Yeah, so they're all a little bit more educated, and this one's way more informal. This one, but we got to a couple good subjects, and I think that people will, if people actually sit through this 95-minute podcast, they'll be more. No, it was like, if you count the part in the beginning where we kind of BS'd and the part where Trevor fixed the camera and we saw all the cool pictures of him, maybe we can get to 2 hours tonight.
Are you gonna edit out anything?
Please edit out when I first got on.
Yeah, can you edit when I look stupid?
Yeah, please edit when I
Oh, we're
first
not going to
got
have
on.
any podcasts left after that, guys.
Wait, no, just edit when I first
Sarah's
got
setting
on.
me up so
Hopefully you weren't
easily.
recording then, because if that gets posted to the internet, I am so done.
Yeah?
Are
Because
you
it shows
kidding
your
me?
ineptitude with technology. Who cares? You think that would affect your Etsy heart selling business? Because people think that...
No, the language I used, man. You gotta
Oh,
edit
were you
that out.
swearing?
You gotta edit
Okay.
out that.
Beginning the recording.
The beginning, you gotta edit
I
that
don't remember you...
out.
Oh,
I lose
yeah.
my image.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't post that. Yeah, that's the very beginning. I thought you were talking about like when the camera went out and we laughed.
Oh, no.
We're doing the Drake thing. Maybe that's a sign that we should say goodbye.
No, you were doing this thing, so I thought
I was
you.
like, what does that even mean? Like, how does this become a thing in our lexicon? Regardless, it is a thing, and I'm happy you guys came on. And
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for
midnight
having
over
us,
here.
Rob.
Informal, but I still think it was entertaining. It might be one of the best podcasts we've had, just because it's like chill. And I need to learn how to like be like this during the podcast more. Anyway, so you know what I'm saying? Like
It was
to be
good
more
practice,
Good
regardless.
training.
to be less formal during the podcast, because I some of the earlier episodes all the way back, episode 2, 3.
I knew you were gonna go there.
You were 2?
I thought it was well done. I like formal.
Were you 1 or 2?
I was number 2, I think. Michelle went first.
Oh yeah, Michelle went first. Yeah, Michelle went first, but you are number 2. It's perfect for you. So and that one was really good. That was only my second podcast, but it was formal, which is good. But it was also a good mix of playfulness. I was literally I didn't even realize you were episode 2. I just said 2 because I was thinking about
You
low number.
realized. Don't even.
I haven't put it
Don't-
past you, Rob.
Wow, my own guests are throwing me under the bus in front of my millions of listeners.
First of all, you are our guest.
No, that's not how it works. I'm the host. I could end this podcast. I'll show you.
You didn't for 95 minutes?
9 to 5 minutes because I'm removing all the dumb parts. And
Oh,
that's the
you could
whole
just
thing.
cross me out of the whole thing then.
I'll put an emoji over your face.
Yeah, the clown one.
Look
I like that
at
one.
this clown. She's a clown.
I am.
Well, that's good. We need more clowns in this world. You have that clown nose you wear. Do you have it with you now?
No,
I'm not
it's in
gonna make you wear
Miami.
it.
You know, I used to wear it around and it broke a little bit, but I have it. It's in Miami.
Your schnoz broke it. You don't have a schnoz, obviously. Sarah's nose is like normal. It's not schnozzy. So if you're
Oh
listening,
my God. You better cut this part out.
Wait, what? I'm saying it's not schnozzy.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
Oh, because
No.
Trevor's got to use the computer.
He does have to use the computer, but also
Okay.
She's
it's
done
time
with
to
us.
cut this off.
Oh, that's the mom face. All
Maybe
right.
we should do some more pain stuff some other time.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, and I'll plan something for it.
Yeah,
It'll be
come
more
up with some
formal.
questions next time, Dr. Rob.
No, I'm taking this part out. I'm not going to have criticism of me on the podcast. No criticism of.
It's constructive. You're welcome.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, but
objective.
my fans don't need to know about constructive criticism from people that aren't. Well, we have one other podcaster here.
Oh, if you can even call it that.
How many episodes do you have?
I have one season. I think it's like seven or 8. But then second
yeah.
season. I think I'm gonna start in 2 weeks. I needed some time off.
The fact that you have a season is insane.
That's
a
so cool.
podcaster. Yeah, I don't
We know
make
a celebrity,
seasons.
Rob.
Oh,
Oh my God, I know
gosh.
2 celebrities. I'm on this with
Wow.
2 celebrities right now.
Oh my god.
You're hosting a podcast with 2 celebrities. How do you feel, Sarah?
Oh, I feel so little,
Oh, you're a little person.
but in a
That's
good way. I'm in
Yeah,
awe.
it's like humbling, right? It's like being,
Yes.
it's like when you're in the presence of something great. It's always
Be
nice.
humble.
Sit down.
Sit
I
down.
knew it.
You set me up again. You're setting me up. You're hooking me up on this podcast. Like
You're
that thing you said about stupid. Like you were setting me up. All right, guys.
Okay.
Nice working with you tonight, and I'll put this together and I'll post it. And I think it was a great episode. I think people will learn a lot about pain science and Etsy and stuff and socks. Good luck with the business.
Thanks for
All right,
having us,
guys.
Dr. Rob.
Bye, guys.
Dr. Rob,
Bye.
Physiologic Sports, Physical Therapy, and Wellness. Signing
HealthCast
off.
305.
HealthCast 3. I didn't even say the words the
I
entire.
know. You're welcome.
Shut up, dude. Shut up, dude. Should I have a next time I'll have you in my ear. I'll have like a little earphone in here. All right, I'm ending
Bye,
the
guys.
thing.